Friends, I'm excited to finally share that my Lisa Eldridge package arrived, and I was sitting on my basket for a couple of months because the Rouge Experience lipstick released last year, and what pushed me over the edge this time to finally press buy? It was the Betty eyeshadow palette alongside the Kitty Lash mascara in Burnt Umber. One of those things where initially seeing Betty for the first time, I thought it was pretty, but it was until I saw the photo of Betty herself. Lisa's beautiful cat, a lavender short hair and tortoiseshell. I guess that's like a mixture of some sort, but my gosh, it's what shoved me over the edge. What nudged me to the edge was knowing that Betty was limited edition, and maybe it was because I was still riding on the coattails of that Chanel palette, the Utopia one for spring. I bought the Givenchy 915, and Betty kind of just worked her way into my inspiration in terms of what I'm gravitating towards for eyeshadow palettes this spring season. But back to the Rouge Experience, and I have to mention this, my basket total was increasingly getting larger every day. I think I maybe had 4 refills in there. I had 2 of the liquid matte eyeshadows, 2 liners. I wanted to get the Liberty makeup bag for free. I think the price threshold for that to be comped is like $156. Back and forth, and I finally whittled my basket down to Betty, Burnt Umber, and 1 Rouge Experience lipstick shade in Medici. I'm thrilled with my purchase. I'm happy I didn't go crazy because a lot of the items that I wanted were permanent. There were in limited edition, like the Betty palette, and I want to purchase more Rouge Experience shades, Ashes of Roses, Simone, Romy, Bohemian Cherry, which of course is sold out. I don't know if it was sold out or they didn't get the refills in yet, but I'll wait. I waited until now so I could still wait some more. And the mascara was a surprise purchase. I think because I'm still riding high from the Prada Scope mascara from Prada Beauty that I absolutely adore. And now that I've been wearing mascara more often, I think I'm welcoming it as a makeup item more into the routine. And listening to Lisa Eldridge speak about her releases, her inspiration behind the products she develops, there's just something captivating, and my gosh, I can't help but be invested in these products. When she was speaking about Burnt Umber, the mascara that I'll show, I got the close-ups and the demos, don't you worry, how the iron oxide shade was used historically in makeup and other craftsman type of setups where using that specific color that is just so earthy and rich. And Lisa had said that she thinks there's a renaissance for brown mascara, and that very well could be, but I was completely captured by her presentation of this brown mascara, and I'm like, I want to be a part of the renaissance too. Into the basket it went, and of course I finally bought the Rouge Experience lipstick, where Lisa developed this case to mimic the older makeup components that she studies and researches, that has this beautiful vintage feel about it. And of course I had to get my initials etched in, because if we're gonna fully commit to this case, we gotta go all the way. And it is heavy. It is heavy. It's luxurious. It is absolutely gorgeous. I knew I was going to buy this lipstick. I held my foot on the brakes far too long. Happy to finally have it in my hands, and glad I decided to go with Medici, because out of all the shades that I was poring over in deciding which ones to buy, which ones to leave behind, I do realize that the more refills you buy, I think after 2 or 3, you get like 20% off. I forgot the discount, but yeah, I'll be on my way back for more refills. Don't you worry. Medici is a cool mauve berry rose, and something about that description just shouted, you don't have me in your collection, Alicia, buy me right now. And it's true. I not only was intrigued by the Rouge Experience formula, which I believe is a satin. It says here, a dreamy lightweight cream lipstick that glides on comfortably with a soft, subtly luminous sheen and a lip smoothing blur. It's not quite as I have felt and experienced Experience, when applying her Rouge Experience formula, it's not a straightforward satin. It's almost like a blurring satin, like how we have the Velvet Fit from Suqqu, the Soft Matte from Prada Beauty. This is almost like a soft satin, in my opinion, and I immediately recognized that when applying it for the first time, where you got the color right away. I thought I needed to apply it again because I'm like, is this it? Is this all I'm going to get? Which wasn't a good or bad thing. I was just surprised at the lightweight nature of this lipstick, how it felt smooth on the application, and does kind of take on some like balmy characteristics in terms of its smooth texture, yes, but also the lightweight color delivery. I have color for sure, and if you want it, you could build on it if you wanted a little more intensity there. But this is the shade, right? As you saw in the footage, that's how it looks on me. I adore this shade. It's strange because mauves found their way into my life last year, and I'm not able to let go. I think it's a fantastic shade on my complexion. I almost consider it, or I do, as another neutral, right? The mauves have definitely taken me by storm, and to have this in a lipstick form, again, like a soft satin, it's just easy going to wear. I could throw it on by itself if I wanted. Sure, it's on the cool tone side, but I think it beautiful now with the lilac and other mauve colors that I have in my collection, and why I decided to throw on the Suqqu blush from, I believe, their holiday collection 107. This blush color is exactly like Medici, right? It's just dreamy together. The mauve undertone comes forward, and I thought it was a great pair, and I could just wear together, right? Without any eyeshadow, without any mascara even. Happy with this lipstick and just pleased with its performance. How, again, it's soft, it's easygoing, easy to apply, and it feels incredibly silky on the lips. And there's something about how the color delivery, I like how it's not in your face intense. I like how there's a little bit of softness to the color, whereas Lisa describes on her product page what she calls a lip smoothing blur. That's exactly what it does. And it doesn't accentuate texture on the lips either. It just has a soft focused look on the lip while delivering color at the same time, but in a way that's almost like ethereal. Does that make any sense, friends? And listen, a lot of you probably have already been wearing Rouge Experience. So let me know down below what your thoughts are on the lipstick, because I love it and definitely want to venture into more shades. As I mentioned before, the list has been set, so I'll slowly add to my collection this year, and we'll let you know when I do, and we'll be on here with those swatches and demos before you know it. For the Kitty Lash Mascara, okay, initially I didn't buy this mascara because I was still riding on the it's silly to spend so much money on a mascara argument because it only lasts 3 months. And the Kitten Lash retails for $36. As much as the Prada actually. Is the Prada less? I think the Prada is either 30 or 36, so it's up there. This released in just the black shade. And what deterred me from buying this initially was because of the spoolie. Historically, I don't have a great time with the spider spoolie, although it does have a shallow curve to it. And when you'll see in the footage coming up, it feels comfortable applying on the lashes where that shallow curve fits well against my lashes, where the brush it doesn't feel like it's too curved, right? Just right to get the mascara through. And here when I apply one coat, you can see the burnt umber, the brown shade coming through, especially when side by side against my lashes that don't have mascara. There is a distinct brown look to the lashes. And when now applying mascara on both eyes, overall, it does yield a soft look. I do like it a lot, especially when wearing it by itself. I think you can appreciate the color more in that regard. If you wanted to go super monochromatic, I'm imagining throwing on shadow that takes on the burnt umber color and committing to that all brown look for the eyes, from lashes to shadow. I think that'll be really beautiful. Just a few product details here. Long wearing, smudge proof, water resistant. Compared to the Prada, I wish this had the Kitty Lash spoolie was more like the Prada spoolie. The Prada spoolie is brush on one side and an actual brush versus the more spiky design on the Kitty Lash spoolie. And again, historically, the spikier spoolies just make my lashes look spidery. It's hard for me to build up the same volume I can with a more dedicated brush spoolie design for my lashes. I forgive it because I love the color, but again, I might have to experiment in maybe waiting for the first coat to dry a little more so the lashes are a little thicker when receiving that second coat, and maybe I can help develop a more thickening look versus a spidery lengthened look. I rather go for volume and thickness versus length. For me, I know people might prioritize one over the other. I definitely like that chunky, thick lash look, sacrificing a little length because on my lashes, that's more flattering. But if you like length and you like more of that separated look, you might appreciate the spoolie. Now, again, this released already this year, not in 2024. But if you have been using the Kitty Lash from 2024, let me know what you think about it down below. I like it. I love the color. I love the color more than I love the spoolie. And because of that, it balances itself out. And that's why I'll continue to use this mascara. Especially if I want to experiment with other shadows and also experiment on days where I want a lighter makeup look, the Rouge experience on, some blush on, and just the Kitty Lash in burnt umber. I think that will be a beautiful like no makeup look, just envisioning in my head. But we got to move on to Betty. Betty is giving. And again, this is a limited release and I didn't want to miss out. That's what it comes down to, friends. I didn't want to miss out on this palette, and I knew that it would be a good choice to buy it because again, I'm riding high on spring releases from the luxury beauty space, and upon seeing this color edit, I thought it was just incredible. Betty is Lisa's cat's name, and all the shade names reflect Betty's personality and her vibe in general. So I just thought, again, you just can't get better than this, okay? Lavender Queen, a satin metallic, an incredibly luminous lilac-y pink with a wet look shine. Whoa. The minute I swatched this, I was like, what in the world is happening right now? Posh, a luminous, rich mulberry mink with silvery pink pearls. Just an extraordinary, beautiful shade. I immediately thought, okay, all over the lid and done. High maintenance, luster, a peachy ginger gold. Whoa. You see the textures of these shadows is incredible. It has a creaminess to it, but just like they almost feel like sticky, not in a bad way. Just you could feel the integrity of the texture, how it just kind of melts into your skin and leaves behind an incredible finish as you see in these swatches. Prima Donna is a metallic deep lavender with contrasting cool and hot pink pearl. Ooh, ooh, ooh. When we get to the demo, I'll let you know what I applied where, but this shade I applied on the inner corner, but equally will be beautiful all over the lid. Starlit. When I first watched Starlit, and you saw in the overhead shot where the light source picked up that duochrome a lot better than the head-on shot here. A luminous duo, semi-translucent silvery green with contrasting pink and lilac sparkling pearls. I'm not entirely sure where else in Lisa's eyeshadow palette portfolio the luminous duo exists in, but my goodness, this, first of all, the duochrome is solid. You could see it right away. The consistency is smooth, great pickup. And when I apply this on my lid and I turned my head, I could see that silvery green pop, and it's just beautiful. I was amazed not only at the duochrome finish, but the sparkly arcly. The dazzling effect of the shadow took me by surprise. I said, hey, Lisa, you're getting crazy. And lastly, Talk to the Paw, meow. A luster, cool, mushroomy taupe. That surprised me. Well, it shouldn't have, because when I swatched it, it delivered a lot of depth. And when playing with the application during the demo, I mistakenly applied this on the inner arc of one eye, and I said, no, that's a little too smoky. So I use it for the outer corner smoke. But let's go into the demo to showcase how beautiful Starlit looks all over the lid. I just wanted to start out with this duochrome shade because if I wanted to treat the palette as one and done moments, but 6 times, it's an easy way to go. And despite it looking icy, I think the duochrome effect of the lilac and the silvery green and the pink, they all play a beautiful role in delivering a one and done springtime eye with crazy pizzazz. You can't go wrong with Starlit all over the lid, but I had to see, I think it was Posh on the second eye as a one and done shade, and I was not disappointed. First of all, the color integrity of this formula, the luminous formula, is incredible. It has beautiful silvery pink pearls, as it said in the description, and you can pick that up. The way I had to tilt my head into the light just so you can see that reflectivity is outstanding. And also, just softly blurring the edges of this formula yielded a soft focus diffused finish through my crease, where I don't feel the need to reach out for a separate matte powder. If I was dying to, I could just use my Hourglass powder and kind of work those edges softly if I wanted it to appear a little more diffuse and not so much pearl at the edges. But this on its own with some flicks, you'll be fine. And this is where I think I went in with Lavender Queen, the satin metallic, the lilac-y pink on the inner corner of the Starlit eye, because I thought this would be beautiful on the inner corner for highlight. And it has almost like this iridescent neon glow, which I thought paired beautifully with the duochrome, which led me to see how Prima Donna would look the deep lavender with Posh, the mulberry mink. I had the mulberry mink all over the lid and wanted to see Prima Donna for inner corner highlight. This took on, even though it says deep lavender, it almost reminds me of like an orchid. Beautiful on the inner corner, and I think makes a lovely contrast with that mulberry mink shade on the lid. And I wanted to check out High Maintenance, the peachy ginger gold, because with this color, I could use it on the inner corner, I could have went in on the lid, but I thought, wouldn't it be interesting to see how it would perform through my crease? And I made sure to go in with the brush sideways just to control the placement and the blend, but I thought it worked out pretty well. In pairing it with the Starlit duochrome, not that it provided smoke, it was just a different color on the eye, but I thought it gave the entire eye some structure because of High Maintenance, more neutral leaning gold color. It kind of pulled everything together where it anchored the look. If I had to, because if I just wore Starlit alone, the entire eye would have like an icier look to the feel, but adding in High Maintenance I thought was a great move. And it just goes to show you don't have to use a matte texture through your crease. You could experiment with other types of finishes through your crease and it'll fare out just fine. So this is where Talk to the Paw. So this is where I wanted to see Talk to the Paw in action, and I underestimated this shade's smokiness. Mistakenly, maybe not a mistake, but I thought so initially. I forgave myself. I placed this on the inner part of my inner arc, and I saw the depth of it and I was like, oh, okay, this will be better on the outer lid. So that's where I went. And I was surprised by how you can make out a little bit of that smokiness. Even though I thought Posh will swallow it up, it didn't. It made itself known. I think Talk to the Paw is a fantastic shade for a little bit of depth and intensity. But like I had mentioned with Posh, just using the brush to flick the edges, I was easily able to create this soft diffuse smoke out with the angle. And just goes to show, I could just take this little palette along and call it a day. I could have applied Talk to the Paw all over the lid also if I wanted something a little smoky, and having Medici paired with that smokiness, putting in a Starlit on the inner corner maybe, or even Lavender Queen. Oh my goodness. And I carried a little bit of Talk to the Paw on the lower quarter, as well as High Maintenance on the first eye. I just kind of wanted to mirror those shapes with each other. And look what we have here. You can just see from the close-ups how versatile this palette is, and the finishes are outstanding. I am impressed, and my apologies for not mentioning this before. Sorry. I do have 2 Lisa Eldridge eyeshadow palettes, and I don't use them as much as I should, which is why I have to stop buying so many gosh darn eyeshadow palettes. But the ease of use, the edited nature of her palettes, I think is incredible. And I have my Givenchy here. You see they have like a similar feel in including like the cooler lilacs, the corals. In this case, you have one gold. I can tell you right now though, the Lisa, this is from the Givenchy palette. The Lisa is giving a little more. It's giving a little more from her shadows. The palette retails for $62. The Givenchy retails for $70. You're getting 9 from the Givenchy, 6 from Lisa's palette, which by the way are magnetic, so you can purchase singles from her site and mix and match as you like. Betty, I'm impressed with Betty. I am, and I'm happy that I bought this palette, especially for the springtime. Thinking also about Suqq's palette, where Suqq's palette is even a more edited down version of the Givenchy, because that has the more the rose, the coral, that violet duochrome, the lavender duochrome, however you want to classify it, and also that gold. I should just pull it out actually. Let me go get it. So the Suqqu palette you see mostly dominated by the warm shades, and you have the one, let me back this up, you have the one lavender orchid shade on the upper corner here, where Lisa mainly dominated by the cooler side of the lilac story. You know, and I could use both interchangeably, right, if I wanted to. But it's nice to have options within this realm, and interesting to see how different brands interpret spring. And when I was actually applying Givenchy's palette yesterday morning and thinking back to the eyeshadow looks that I used to do years ago when I first started my, well, not first started my YouTube channel, when I primarily reviewed hair, when I came back on and then delved into the beauty reviews and dove super deep in eyeshadow palette reviews and tutorials, where I was doing heavy glam looks. And I'm not entirely sure where I evolved when that pivot happened, how I now was gravitating towards softer eye looks, palettes that were smaller, that weren't so involved, that didn't take a long time to blend, where I could just tap on 2 shadows, throw on whether it be mascara or falsies, and call it a day. It's like I want the easy life now with eyeshadows. And having a palette like Betty delivers just that, but with extra oomph. It's incredible, and I'm happy that I chose Medici because I think this mauve cool color just pairs beautifully well with the palette. And yes, one could argue that the other shades in my wish list could pair well with Betty too, but I'm gonna leave that alone. And I had my eye on another liner that I thought would pair beautifully with Medici. Gonna hold off though, because Medici by itself without a liner is fine. It's a grown and sexy shade without being in your face. Does that make any sense? And I can't get over the texture. I know I went on and on when speaking about this lipstick at that part of the video, but this is unlike any lipstick formula I have ever worn. It's quite unique, and happy that I finally dove into Rouge experience because it took me long enough. But that is my mini Lisa Eldridge haul. Happy that I shaved it down and made it a lot more edited. Glad I got my Liberty makeup bag because I had my eye on that. And as you saw, yes, was also eligible for this olive lip pencil case, or you know, whatever I decide to use it. It could also be used for brushes, albeit not a ton, as I don't want to overstuff it and squish the bristles. But yes, friends, let me know if you recently purchased Betty, the Kitty Lash in Burnt Umber, any more Rouge experience refills. I would love to know down below. And if you made it this far, consider liking this video and subscribe, because you know more luxe beauty videos are coming, and comparisons, whatever else I come up with, notification bell, ding ding ding. If you want to check out the Suqqu video I'm speaking about, you could click here, check out the swatches, the demos for their pre-summer collection. I'll see you in that video down in the comments and on here again next time.